DIPs below 70% or more than 30% of Sydney homes put to auction on the weekend failed to find a buyer, with the auction clearance rate dipping below 70% for the first time since last April. Sales agents were trying to be upbeat. "It's the time of year we're in winter," said Bell Property Bondi Junction's Edward Brown. "Buyers are trying to make up their mind. Is this property the right one, or should I wait? Once spring arrives there'll be a new urgency." But some experts said falling below 70% was an ominous sign of a deteriorating market. Before Easter, it had consistently been 80%. It's been slowly dropping over winter. There were 496 auctions across Sydney on the weekend and the preliminary clearance rate from CoreLogic was 69.39 per cent. "It's trending downwards," CoreLogic's auctions commentator Kevin Brogan said. "Outside of public holidays, it's the first time the Saturday clearance rate has dipped below 70% since last April." Agent reports cards showed a string of passed in, no bids results from Bexley in the south through to Collaroy in the north. Auctioneer Will Hampson said the banks tightening the rules for investors was having a big impact, particularly in the outer suburbs, with the numbers fronting up to bid having in a year. "We're using the vendor bid a bit more strategically and fewer properties are selling over reserve," he said. "There is less strength for investment properties, but still strong demand for live-in owners in many sought-after suburbs and inner-city suburbs." On Saturday, young Redfern family Mark and Melissa Gibson, with children Madeline, 3, and Hugh, 1, upgraded to a larger 3-bedroom terrace on 158 SQM block with off-street parking at 619 Bourke St. Surrey Hills, paying $2,551,000. It was $351,000 above reserve through McGrath agent Chris Chung, though agents from other firms thought the $2.2 million reserve was too low and the Gibsons had budgeted for up to $2.6 million. "It was a fair price," Mr. Gibson said. "But it's the unlivable deceased estates, or homes that have been in the same family for decades, that usually tend to have the lower reserves that often disguise the malaise of the general market. Like bees to a honey pot, home hunters headed to the derelict deceased estate Victorian Workers' Cottage at 239 Lilyfield Road, Lilyfield, lured by the potential for water views. A sense of competition was created from the 10 registered bidders with 5 in the bidding frenzy, and it sold for $1.26 million. "The potential is enormous," Thomas Skelly of Saville's Cordeaux Marshall said. "And a 3-bedroom unit in a 1980s Bondi Junction high-rise with iconic views at 1201/251 Oxford St went for $1.94 million, $215,000 above reserve, though the Bell Property mother and daughter team Stella Gankin and Marina Macklin. Cooley's auctioneer Jake Moore called for an opening offer of maybe $1.65 million for the unit with sweeping views of the harbour. He had to be happy with $1.6 million, but vendor Dorn O'Connell said her late parents would have been happy with the final result. Families are still pouncing on well-priced homes in more contemporary condition, too. Doreen Wilson, of Phillips Pantser Donley, said she was seeing no sign of a deteriorating market at Kingsford in the southeast, where 6 registered for a renovated Californian bungalow at 40 Eastern Avenue, Kingsford. "It was an absolute ripper," she said. "Only 2 actually bid, but it started at $2,850 and it finished at $3,290,000 and the reserve was $3 million. It last traded for $2.15 million 7 years ago.